Hey, you guys, this is the Couplings Fire podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and everything I say is my own opinion. My goal? To inspire anyone listening to take the steps to bettering their department, however they can. Let's get on to the episode. All right. Here we go. Huh?
Oh.
Let's roll it. Let's roll it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Couplings Fire podcast. This is going to be a nice lighthearted episode just in time for Christmas. It is Christmas Eve today as this is coming out. That's weird to say. It doesn't feel like Christmas Eve. It's so warm. It's so weird here in Nebraska right now. Anyway, so I have my friend with me, Curtis Hensley. I met him actually back in February this last year. We met at Les Luker conference, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Curtis, thank you for coming on with me tonight.
You betcha. I appreciate the invite.
So for people who don't know you, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So small town kid, grew up in northeastern Colorado, as far northeast as you can get before you get into Nebraska. Little town of Julesburg. Grew up doing everything a small town kid does. Was around the fire station fairly early on. My dad was a volunteer there for a long time, worked his way up to be an assistant chief. So going through school, just tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I kind of thought that would be a fun avenue. So when I was a senior in high school, I was able to ask the department if they would be willing to drop their age requirement from 21 to 18. Because I happened to be 18 when I was a senior. And so they did. I was able to start volunteering at that time and just kind of cut my teeth there. I got my first responder at that point, and then went off to college and just navigated my way to where I'm at now. Went to Colby, Kansas for a year, played some baseball, got my EMT and some general courses. Then went to McCook Community College, played another year of baseball there. And then that's where I got my fire science and EMS degrees. So been in the fire service for almost 18 years now. I've been a paramedic for 12 of those. Currently work as a career firefighter for a small combination department here in central Nebraska. Currently a lieutenant. Got promoted right before the pandemic, decided to absolutely explode. So that was an interesting challenge, but it's been a fun one, and I've been more than gracious and humbled for that opportunity. So.
Oh my goodness. Just talking about how getting promoted right before everything exploded. I feel like that would be fun to go over sometime with a bunch of different people about like what they were doing, what happened when it all exploded. And just because we all went through so different, but the same things.
It was wild. The Wednesday before, so I got officially promoted on that Sunday, like the 15th of March. And that Wednesday night was when the NBA shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got done putting the kiddos to bed, and I was like, hey, the Nuggets are on. So I sat down and I, kicked it on ESPN and I started watching it. And that's when you could kind of see things were rumbling and people were wondering what was going on, and games were being postponed. And it was like, what's going on? And then it was like, that was it. And I remember my wife, she come out, she's like, what's going on? And I said, I think our world as we know it is getting ready to change, because the NBA is shutting down tonight. And I can guarantee you March Madness will be shut down tomorrow. And sure enough, they pulled the plug on March Madness. And then, of course, we're at where we're at right now. So
it was ridiculous. So my husband and I were on a cross-country road trip. We drove down to Florida to go to vacation. And it was 2.5 days drive, and we had kind of been cut off from the world for that 2.5 days doing our own thing. Right. We kind of knew things were happening a little bit before, but nothing was really talked about. We got down there, we got checked in our hotel, we got on the beach. on the beach, we got notifications from our travel agent saying, hey, Disney's shutting down, so you're not going to check in tomorrow.
Oh no. Right.
And so then we had to drive all the way, figure out basically a plan, stay at the hotel for a little bit and then drive back for a few days. But like, oh man, just seeing the world change from the drive down to the drive back and how much stuff changed just in that short couple days. That was weird.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So
well, and that's like when we did the shutdown, here in Nebraska for that. I travel about an hour to get to work. And there were many days where it seemed like I was the only person on the interstate. I mean, it was wild. It was really weird. It was like out of the scene, out of like some, weird apocalypse movie, So, it's been crazy. That's for sure. So
yeah, start out with the first rabbit trail on COVID. Okay, so perfect. So before we start our actual episode, I did want to talk about the Les Lucas Conference coming up in Kearney, Nebraska on February 4th through 6th. You guys, the registration has officially opened for it. I can finally say that now. I'm excited for it.
Yes.
So you can go find the information to register for that on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow the NSFSI, Nebraska Society Nebraska Society of Fire Service Instructors. Sometimes it's a mouthful, you know that? And then you can also look it up on our website, www.nsfsi.com. Curtis is actually with me on the board for that, and we've had a lot of fun putting it together this year.
Yeah, it has been good. I think we're going to be, we're going to be ready to go regardless now that we're live. So, but it hopefully this crazy weather decides to hold out a little bit. I mean, I enjoy winter and I enjoy seasons, I suppose, when they're supposed to be around. But that weekend, I would certainly take some nicer weather, unlike last year where we had one nice day and then like 9 inches of snow the next day.
That was fun. That was intense.
I was glad I was not in the hot classes on Saturday and Sunday because that would have been miserably cold.
So, realistic training, right?
I was just glad I was sitting in the conference rooms on Saturday and Sunday instead.
Me too. It's like I've already heard of people from Mississippi wanting to sign up for the classes. We've had people from Tennessee signing up for these classes in past years and things. I mean, people are kind of coming from all over, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. It should be a good time. So we got some good speakers, and there'll be some good people there, and we'll just keep growing it. I think we're gonna turn the corner and hopefully get some more people registered to come in. So
yeah, fun. It's nice for Nebraska to have another conference available to it. So, and something just in a different part of the year than normal. Well, I mean, it's normal for Les Lucas to be in that part of the year, but not a lot of fire conferences happen at that point. So it's really, really nice.
No, it would be tough to do it like early or late spring, early summer, because you've got the state fire marshals conference, and so then trying to pick, well, where do you go from there, fall or early spring? And so this is a good spot to plug in a conference, I think. So
exactly. And it gets people out of our houses.
Right.
A lot of us tend to be just home dwellers in the winter, even with working jobs and stuff like that. You just whenever you're home, you want to stay home.
Well, then, it's dark at 4:00 in the afternoon. It's tough to really want to go do anything after that, but yeah.
Yeah. So come get out of your house, get out of your depressive state, like we all get into the seasonal depression, and come hang out at Les Lucas for a weekend.
Exactly. And part with that on that Friday night, we're going to do that Tactics on Tap.
Yeah.
Still working on a venue. The one that I had talked with, they have a hard time blocking off area on Fridays and Saturdays nights because that's their busiest. Totally understand that. So, but there's some other places here in town we'll be able to go ask, but we'll make sure that happens. And it was really fun last year. I mean, we never really talked about tactics per se with an actual instructor.
Yeah,
but I think the group discussions of people just being able to just kind of it was like a social hour ish per se.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. So that's where you and I bit. So
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I cut it off.
I got to talk quite a bit.
Yes, because we had been in the hot class earlier that day together and in the same group, and that was fun. But then I was walking around aimlessly, not knowing who to sit down with and who to talk to. There's an open seat next to you and Shane. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to sit here.
And then Dave showed up, and then the
Mark
man,
showed
the
up.
myth, the legend,
Yeah.
Mr. Oppen showed up, and it was like,
and I told him I like his crap a lot, and that, you know.
That's right. And he walked in, and he looked like he was like, what universe am I in right now? Because he comes from California, where they were in purple code status, lockdown, don't even go out on your front yard.
Exactly.
And he flies into Alaska, where everybody's eating and drinking and having a good time. So
I think it was nice and relaxing for him.
Yeah, it was. It was back to normal for a little bit, for a few hours. I know he really enjoyed that. So
I'm pretty sure we were one of his first conferences after all that too.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because he really wasn't going anywhere else. So
yeah. All right. So tonight we are going over our Christmas lists, and there are no real rules for this. This is going to be stuff we want to try. Could be either for us personally, could be for our fire department, or I don't know, just about anything. So no rules for this. Just go over our Christmas list tonight.
Love it. Let's do it.
All right. So what's your first one on the list, Curtis, since you're the guest?
Well, I would say.
Hold on. Can you explain how you are so organized, so much more organized than I am this episode, which is almost a crime, but.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my mom, the OG, Lori. She
mom.
That's right, the grandma extraordinaire. At one point decided that packing her Suburban full of toys and other things to drive them here for Christmas, it was getting a little crazy. So my parents decided to change it up a little bit and do a need, read, wear, and want. So 4 easy categories. You can put, whatever you want in those. And then it just makes it easier for everybody to shop for grandkids or extended family, things of that nature. So that's what I decided to do to make it a little bit easier for me to do this. So I was able to sit down next to the 4-year-old on the couch while he was watching Rescue Bots and get this hammered out here before we hopped on. So
it's been a few years since you made a Christmas list, huh?
Yeah, it's been for sure. So I'm gonna start with a need. So I've got 2 of them, and one of them I've already ordered. I'm just waiting for it to show up. But the Fire Mall tools, they have a TSR plugin, and they were doing pre-orders a while ago, so I did do the pre-order. And of course, with the shipping containers and things of that nature, they're waiting for certain parts to show up because it's going to be all one-piece forged steel halogen bar. And it's just kind of one that I would like to have for myself as an officer tool, just so then that leaves the extra halogens on the trucks for everybody else. And it's one I can keep right in the front seat next to me, and things of that nature. So I know they're working hard on trying to get everything put together and get them shipped out. But they've been a great company to work with, very responsive. I'm pretty excited that a lot of the data and stuff off of it shows it's going to be actually a pretty decent little halogen to have. So I'm pretty pumped to get it once it finally shows up. So
that's awesome. I've heard of a lot of officers having their own tools, especially on the career side, but I've never talked to anybody who's like really had a lot of their own tools. So I'm interested to see, like, I guess, I mean, I assume it comes in handy because it's your own tool. And like you said, you're leaving the rest on the truck for everyone else to use. And you just have something readily available up there for you. Is there tons of room that you have a place to mount this, or like, how does that work?
It depends. It just kind of depends on which trucks you kind of got, or sometimes certain departments will spec the truck to be able to where you can have like your own tool mounted, things of that nature. So the trucks that we've got, there's some room where I can put it up front with me, or I can just put it in a certain compartment and know that
that's yours.
Yeah,
okay.
So
Thank you. It's like, yeah, I don't actually know about that.
Yeah. So we a couple of years, I think it was a couple of years ago. Yeah. On 7/8 day, I nerded out and bought a smooth bore shut off and a 7/8 tip, that because they had like I don't know, it was ridiculous percentage off on that day, the day of the smooth bore.
Mhm.
So it was a matter of us being able to use them a little bit and just to kind of show the usefulness of not only the Elkhart brass shutoff valve with the smooth bore, but that they'd really have broken that down to where even if you got guys that still like the fog nozzles or need the application of a fog nozzle, that what you're getting from them is actually a fog nozzle with smoothbore properties. And so it really makes it super simple. I mean, you open the bail and you can look through and, see the truck, so that's always a good thing. And so it's just kind of something where, on the EMS side, you see people, they'll buy, a nice stethoscope or, certain things like that. And, it was just kind of I had enough of that type of stuff and decided to go, on the other end, go a little rogue and start buying some fire stuff on my own. And part of it is things I would like to have in my own pocket. And another part of it is I fully understand that municipalities have a very tight budget, especially, over the last couple of years. And so, some of those things, they may be a little bit pricey, but at the end of the day, you're investing in yourself. And quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with doing that. So, but
No, it's kind of like being a mechanic. I mean, my husband was a mechanic for years, and you know how many thousands of dollars he put into his own tools and toolbox? It was expected. And it's kind of one of those things. It's almost where I see it going to the fire service. You know, you buy the things that you want that'll make your job easier and better and safer for you too. Of course, you want your job to provide things, but yeah.
And that's the one thing I've learned throughout the years is having that open, honest, give and take of, hey, I'm willing to do this. And are you okay with that? Yeah, sure. I know that, hey, I'd like to go to this training, but I know the budget's tight. So would you pay for my registration and I'll cover everything else? I mean, just trying to, you build that leadership capital a little bit with your bosses. And it makes, things go pretty smooth. You have that open line of communication, and it just kind of makes your life a little bit easier. So I learned that the hard way. But we all grow up and learn the school of hard knocks of life sometimes, but
We do.
in a good place right now though. So, but yeah.
So I just realized I forgot to put this in the beginning, but I want to say, as far as I know, I am not sponsored by anything that I mentioned tonight. And I'm assuming you're not either. Okay.
No.
I just wanted to say that too, just so everyone knows we're not trying to plug anyone certain or anything. These are things that either we like or we're interested in or something. No sponsorships.
Correct.
If
we did get sponsorships, then
I won't complain. I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking for a sponsor. If somebody wants to sponsor me, especially anyone I shout out on here, like I am for it.
There you go.
I'm going to start out with my first one. This is just a big old want. Okay, it's kind of a need too. I didn't structure my list at all, which is not like me. I went strictly like a little kid would, and I was like, what's the first thing that comes to my brain? Write it down. Next thing. Okay. Well, oh wait, I forgot about that. Okay. And I went on with this list. And I'm pretty sure I wrote this list for like 2 days, and I kind of like kept reorganizing it and like crossing things out. I'm like, no, this is better. Like I was totally a little kid when I filled this out, but I'm going to go with I think would be my top dollar one. Just reach for the stars. Ask Santa for something really good. I want a drone. Not a cheap drone. I want a top of the line DSLR quality drone. I want to be able to use it for grass fires to see stuff. I want to be able to use it for building size up when you can't get full 360. I want to use it for recruitment and retention videos and stuff like that. I want to use it just all sorts of promotion. Like, give it to me. I want a drone.
Yeah. Yeah, there's even some of them now where they even have them like mounted on the trucks.
Dude.
And yeah, so they'll go there. They've got a leash of some sort, but it's for that purpose of being able to go above, to get a nice aerial view of what's going on. But yeah,
Yeah,
that would
with
be
all
pretty
the
sweet.
noise that's happening on the fire ground, you're not going to notice it anyways. I mean,
No.
you would other places because everyone's like, oh, there's something up there. They can hear it, but they don't know where it is. Fire ground, there's way too much truck noise. No, but getting those promo videos and stuff they're gold mines. It's almost like having one of those helmet mounted cameras, except for these are a little smoother.
Right.
But
Exactly.
I would
Yeah,
take
that
one
would
of
be
those too.
Yeah.
All right, next up for you.
Okay. I'm gonna go with where. I'm gonna go where on this one. So obviously we know that the country seems to be on fire all the time, even more so in the wildland sector of things. And we're starting to see a lot of that here in Nebraska. So my battalion chief he cut his teeth on the wildland side of things up in South Dakota before he made his way down to Nebraska. So he's really pushed a kind of a more responsive wildland program within our department, and some dual compliant wildland pants, and as well as a wildland pack that's got everything that you're going to need in it, fire shelter, things of that nature. Just because I tell you, we have the luxury where I'm at right now, where we've got nice grass rigs where we don't have to really go dig a lot of lines, stuff like that. There's times where we can, but we're able to usually use the trucks to get around. But I tell you, the temperatures and the wind shifts and things that we see, it'd be nice to have a pack with a shelter and a few things to where if you really had to, get after it, or you get in a bind in a bad spot, that you have some protection a little bit, so. Yeah, that would be for me. Wear wise would be some dual compliant pants and a pack with a shelter. So
it seems like here lately, the wildfires in Nebraska have been getting bigger and more out of control.
And part of it is just so dry. I mean, we
Yeah.
just haven't had any measurable moisture for a long time. We had a couple years ago where we had a really wet spring, and so you had a lot of that growth, but then we haven't had anything since. So then now, you got fuels that are 6 foot high and just tinder boxes ready to go, so.
And a lot of times, even if you get a rain, it's going to make the ground soft, but it's not going to make anything any better. So you're actually going to have a bigger problem of getting your truck stuck and everything, but still having the fire go just as fast. So
Yep. Yeah. So that'd be one of my where would be the stuff for the wildland sector. So.
All right. I'm going to follow you. I'll do a wear one. We'll do that. So I am looking for a new pair of structure gloves. And I have read so much and seen so many reviews on the Vanguard's MK1 Ultras. So many good reviews on it, so much written up about it. I don't know why I haven't just bought it already, but it's one of those that is one that's really at the top of my list. Just
yeah. I have a pair of them. I've yet to really use them. I got weird hands. I'm like in between sizes, so sometimes it's tough to one structure gloves fits different versus the other one. I got a buddy, they're called toddlers. He calls them toddler straps, but they're the heat straps where it's got Nomex loops on them and they can loop through the hook on the gloves. So the nice thing is you can throw those straps on your cuffs and then your gloves are dangling.
I would like those.
Yeah. And that's the one thing though that on the Vanguards is they don't have that little.
Oh, okay.
So my heat straps, I can't loop them on there. So I'd have to have, somebody sew a strap or something on them or something to that effect. But
Yeah, and then you have to make sure everything's all fire compliant and everything so it doesn't light on fire while you're in the building, because that'd be the worst thing. You're working inside and stuff and it's hot or whatever, and then just your little strap in your glove is the only thing that starts burning because it wasn't rated for anything. And
yeah. So, but yeah, I haven't been able to really use them per se. I'd like to get them broken a little bit though, some trainings and stuff just before I take off with them. But
yeah.
Same deal though. Unbelievable reviews. I mean, even their first gen ones had great reviews.
Mhm.
Sounds like, anybody who's had the next ones have really loved them. So, yeah.
All right, I think it's your turn again.
Okay.
We're starting to get lost on whose turn it actually is.
I'm gonna go with Reed on this one. The Fire Department Training Network, they put out a monthly newsletter. It's like a short little booklet on a certain topic, and so I would love to have a subscription to the FDTN. My battalion chief, he has one, and so we'll sit down during coffee time or break time or whatever and just kind of go through the topic it is that he got sent. But that would be something I would like to have to be able just to read, just a nice little coffee table type booklet magazine, I guess you could call it, something to that effect. But it's got some good training info and things of that nature in it. So
is it handheld? Is it printout? Like, is it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's really cool. It's like, I don't know, maybe like 10 pages at the most, something like that. And just kind of regular paperback type material, but it's the size of kind of like a magazine that you would get.
That'd be nice. There's something different about having something in your hands. Like, I like reading stuff online because it's just so easy to go look something up. But I love having a physical book, physical magazine, newspaper, something to read through.
Yeah, it is really cool. So.
Oh, let's see. Oh, what do I want to do next? Okay. So this is something I kind of already have, but not really. So a friend of mine, Tara, she makes this decontamination soap for firefighters called Flame Decon.
Okay.
And she puts out scented, I almost said flavors. It's a whole inside story. I don't know. Like, long story short, scents, not flavors. It's not food. Okay. Anyways. So she put out different scents and stuff every month for it. Well, for Christmas, she did this gingerbread soap. And it smells so freaking good. And so this decontamination soap, it is activated charcoal in it and different sizes of charcoal. I don't know all the science behind it. I probably should look more into it. But it is formulated to help remove the toxins from your body after a fire and stuff. And it actually takes out, if you believe it, and I've done it and it works like crazy, it will take out the smell of a fire off of you, off your hair and everything in one wash.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It's awesome. And
you can smell like gingerbread too.
Exactly. So I've already had 2 bars of soap of it. I used one already. I have a second one. I ordered 2 more of them because I don't mind smelling like gingerbread in February because who cares? But I want a lifetime subscription of the gingerbread soap.
Interesting. It is tough. I mean, there's times, you get a decent little fire and then you go shower and you get done showering and you can still smell. You can still smell the smoke. So
exactly. And so, yeah, just the fact that this gets all the toxins out of your skin, or at least a lot of it. I shouldn't say all, it gets most, it tries to, kind of one of those things. It's for it and everything. And it gets that smell out of your hair, out of your body, off your body. Cause like, I know Chris, like, he'll take a shower, he'll still smell like a fire 3 days later. Mm-hmm. If you have a really good one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You get a really good one. You'll smell like one for a while. So
exactly. It never comes out of my hair. So it's like, but no, this stuff has been a miracle worker in that aspect.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. I'll have to get you a sample of it.
That would be awesome. I would love to because I know that's the one thing within our department, we're really trying to push the cancer prevention initiative. And we've been able to get new gear washers, all the stations, and so that'd be
Yeah,
something neat to
I'll
see.
definitely get you some samples of the stuff so you can try it out and see it. So she has a couple different things, some bar soap, which is what she's able to get the different scents for and stuff. And then she actually has a body wash and stuff too. So yeah. All right. So yeah, that's mine, the lifetime subscription of the plain gingerbread soap.
There you go. I'm let's go with want. I've got 3 of them actually, so I'm gonna start with just one. I would really like a Scott pack with the thermal imager in the mask, like the brand new top of the line Scott pack, and then you've got the face piece that's got the thermal imager integrated into it, so you're able to look through your face piece, but you're also have the thermal imager at the same time. And I know some of that's going to be, your thermal imager that is going to be more for a situational awareness, but it would just be nice to have right there in your eye kind of thing.
Well, it would help you out in so many different aspects. Yeah, you're not looking at it for specific degrees of anything. You're not using it for technical side. You're using it for more situational awareness.
Right. Yeah. I just think that'd be super cool. Like like MSA's got a really nice pack, and they've got the thermal is on the chest strap area, and it's great thermal, and it, for this kind of the same thing, but you gotta kind of have to lift it up and look at it.
The only thing I don't like, you have to look down at it for it, or like bring it up, and then at that point you're aiming towards the ceiling. So that's what I don't like about it. So I'm with you. Like, having it in your mask where you look is what you see.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I would just love to even be able to like train with one just to see how, the biggest difference between, having to look down, or you got your takeout in front of you, whereas you could have it right there in your eye. I think that'd be pretty cool. So.
Okay, so this one's pretty easy, and I could probably just buy this for myself like in 2 seconds. And I probably shouldn't be on a Christmas list, but it's one of those things I'm like, I'm just going to write down every little thing that comes to my head. It's kind of like a little kid writing down that they want more Legos or something, right? One of those things. But I think I want some sort of a rig bag, some sort of a bag that I can stick in the truck. And I know a lot of career people have these, but I don't know of a lot of volunteers that have these. And this would just be either extra socks, extra gloves, extra Nomex hood or something. I don't know, whatever you find useful that you may need an extra of on a call. Because walking around in wet socks and leather boots freaking sucks.
Wet gloves, wet hood that now all of a sudden is freezing, Yeah. I don't have like an actual bag. I mean, I should probably get one, but I do have like an extra like face mask bag.
I feel like that's the same thing pretty much.
Yeah, extra pair of gloves, extra hood in there with my face piece, but I do know of some guys though that they do have an actual bag where they've got lots of extra stuff. I got one guy that he's got water and food, and I mean he's one of those crazy guys that can go run and run and run and run. He needs a high intake of food, so if he gets to working and he can get a hankering pretty easy for some food. So
well, yeah, cool. Could you imagine a super long grass fire, and if you had your own couple granola bars in your bag and a water ready to go?
Yeah, just something. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So no, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure.
Again, like I said, I could probably go out tomorrow and buy my own for like $10 or something, but like it's on a Christmas list now.
Well, it's almost it's what, 3 days before Christmas, so you got to have it on the list. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Aware that I would want
covers 2 sections.
I know, right? Kind of twofold. Black gear. I just love the look of black gear. Yeah,
it looks pretty sweet.
It does, and it's got a purpose to it. If you sit through Chief Greenwood's classes, he'll talk about how if it has a thermal insult, the dye will come out. So it gives you an actual visual of not only I know I need to check my gear, but that also is a good visual of, ooh, it pulled the dye out. So I really need to check this.
So Greenwood's Surviving the Insult class is hands down by far my favorite classroom class I've ever taken. Ever.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Total nerd. It was amazing. Yeah.
I took so many notes, but I can go through that class as many times as I want now in my notes.
Yeah, I recorded. Like I had to voice record it just because so I could go back and listen to it. Because there was just so much to it in that 4-hour span, but it was absolutely amazing. And be able to really break it down to the most simplest form, and for everybody in the audience to be able to understand, where he was coming from and the studies that he had done and things of that nature. It's
hard
amazing.
to do. It's very hard to get down to that basic level. At that point, that was the first year I attended Les Luger. That was the year that I still didn't know a lot into the fire service stuff. And I learned so much in that year, but for him to be able to talk to my level of what I can understand and go super nerdy on this stuff, like top notch.
Loved it. Yeah. And to pair the black gear would be a leather helmet with the Colorado men, since I'm a Colorado kid. So yeah, but
got a special pair of boots there too that you need to wrap in with that.
Well, I do I do prefer the Globe leather zips. They've got a structure. Yes, they have a structure boot that does zip. I most generally don't have it zipped unless it's going to be an extended event and they're easy to zip right up, and it's like wearing a flipping tennis shoe. So
not gonna lie, I didn't know there were fire boots that were zipped. I knew there were work boots that were zipped, but not fire boots.
Yeah. And the first time I saw them was when I was going to school in McCook. I volunteered for the department down there while I was going to college. And they had a firefighter challenge team, combat challenge team that they would have go. And one of the guys couldn't go. So they said, "Hey, would you like to compete?" I said, "Yeah, that'd be great. I'll fill in, And that day they had Globe was set up, and they had every size you could imagine of the Globe zip boot. And I'm like, these are awesome. And you put them on and you zip those up, and it was like wearing a tennis shoe. I mean, they're just super comfortable, super responsive, super supportive. The only thing I did with mine that I have is I took them to a boot place and they put a couple leather straps on them so I can carry them. They're not made that way. But it's nice because I just got something I can use to carry my gear around with.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get in the way though when I zip them up. So, but yeah.
So going deeper into that one. So how, with the zip up, how does that work with your gear and everything? So if you don't zip them up, you just lift up your pants so you can zip them and then.
Yeah, you just lift up the bottom of the pant real quick and zip them up, and then it slides. Then your pant leg slides back down. So.
Okay. Yeah, just little thing. I'm like, interesting.
Now zipping them is kind of a pain. You gotta pull shove your pants all the way down and then slowly zip them back down into the leg and then down the foot. So that's kind of a pain to unzip them after the fact. But zipping them up is pretty easy, pretty quick. So
okay. Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I love them. In fact, the first pair I ever had, I bought myself. So we get a clothing allowance every year. And I was pretty well set on clothing. And so I used my clothing allowance to buy a pair of those. I've had the same pair for however long, but I got new gear issued here this last year. And so I was able to snag another pair of those boots. So I have those ready and waiting when I need to use them. So, but they're a great boot. I love them. So
have to look into those a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Next up, let's see. How do I want to go with this? Okay. This will kind of come in twos. I want a personal face mask, right? Because that'd be just nice to have a personal one, not have to share one, because my face is smaller than other people's faces and the larges don't fit my face. So there's that. But more importantly, I want one of those training regulators. I want that because I would like to do more training in my face piece, more just getting used to it. I'm not claustrophobic, but just getting used to almost, it's not a resistance, but it's almost like a resistance. It's not, okay. I was going over this with Chris at one point, and it's not harder to breathe, but mentally it is, because you can hear yourself breathing. Because when you're sitting here and we're talking, you and me, I can't hear myself breathing. But then you get inside those face masks, you can hear every little thing, every little breath, and just it's so psychological. But having that training regulator on, having that face mask and working more in it, just getting more used to it, I don't know, it'd just be really nice to have. So
yeah, and you're right. It is distinctly different.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it just is, and part of it is it's the physiology of wearing the pack, and then you've got the mask on, and you can hear yourself breathing. And if you add everything into it, you know, you have your gear on, so now you're kind of creating your own little hot box oven, and so just your body is just going through the normal responses to that. But being able to work with that mask on is huge. We've got a new guy right now that, I mean, the guy, he is fit like can be. That guy can hop on a treadmill and run forever. And the first few times having him in gear on air, I mean, it was like, you could tell, I mean, it was completely different for him. He goes, it is a different uncomfortableness that I've never felt before. And he's like, and you're right, it is a little bit getting used to. But once you kind of figure out what works for you, then you're good to go, you know. But it's just a matter of doing it, and being able to have, you know, that training regulator. That would be pretty cool. So yeah.
Well, another thing with the training regulator, so a lot of my old department, you can fill up the air bottles really easy at the station. Not every department has that capability. So if anyone's listening who doesn't know what I'm talking about, because I realize I haven't explained what a training regulator is yet, it's something you put on the face piece to basically simulate breathing on air and that kind of extra added sound resistance to it without you actually using the air in your bottle. If that kind of makes a basic outline to what it is. So for some volunteer departments, or just any department too, I mean, plenty of career places don't have places to fill up at every single station. You know, so you can train with these without using your supply of air bottles and not running out. So that's a benefit to these. Plus, if you're off a shift or at home or whatever, and you have your own face piece assigned to you or however that is, you can do training at home as well and not always have to do it at the station. So
right, yeah, because you can, you know, be on a treadmill or a exercise bike or a row machine, or just not, you know, it just gives you just that opportunity to be able to train and just get used to that you know, simulated phobia a little bit. So
when I was first starting to get into air pack stuff, and at one point my chief walked in while I was doing this, and I got a little embarrassed. He's like, "Why are you embarrassed?" Because this is freaking genius. But I was checking my truck on air, and I wasn't wearing all my gear, just the air pack and face piece, and checking my truck and for the week. And he's just like, "That is genius, because you're getting used to it. You're doing what you need to do anyways. You're getting up and out of the truck. You know, you're checking all the stuff over, starting your chainsaws and everything with it all on." It's something that not everybody does.
Oh, I love that. That is a great idea, especially for new people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, because I think I've noticed that here lately, even for some of our newer hires that we've had there, this is a completely new field for them, you know, which is awesome. But you've got to really kind of get creative sometimes with some of the stuff, because it's just getting them, you know, through all of that in a timely fashion, and getting them conditioned to that. So that's pretty genius there, pal. I like that.
Well, thank you. I was totally embarrassed at the time, though, It's like walking in,
No.
big old station, I'm by myself. Chief walks in. Oh crap.
No way. That's awesome. I'm just so you know, I'm gonna steal that from you. Okay.
Perfect.
I like it. Love it.
You got any more on your list?
I do.
Okay.
I have a
I'm
couple
not trying to rush you if you're
No way. I have a couple trucks here. So if you ask my 4-year-old, he'll tell you squad's where it's at.
First of all, hold on. Rabbit trail before we get into that. You know how annoying it is that not every department calls their stuff the same thing? However, because like you'll go one place and a squad is something different than something else. So like most times, like you and I'm assuming squad is the truck, like a special rescue team, right? Okay, so you can either have a rescue, a truck, or a squad are all the same, but sometimes squad refers to an ambulance and sometimes rescue refers to an ambulance. And it's just like, what?
No,
So,
ambulance or
right?
unit. Call it a unit. A squad is a truck. It is a fire truck.
Hold on. Here's another one for you. Is it what are those big things with wheels that carry a lot of water, like 2,000 gallons? Or yeah.
Oh, a tanker.
Okay. I was hoping you were gonna say a tanker, not a tender. So
yeah. Well, per that, isn't it isn't it US Forest Service call them tenders?
Yeah, because they're like, if you call for a tanker, you get an airplane. Well, to me, that's an air tanker. So anyways, go on. So anyway, talking about squads and tankers and trucks and rescues. Your squad.
Back
your
to the
kid.
ranch here. Yes, the 4-year-old saying squad's where it's at, and I would happen to agree with him. But so Wichita Fire's got they got 2 of them. They're a sweet Pierce. They're a walk-through rescue unit, and that thing is got. You can do rope rescue from there's anchor points all over the thing. It has all of their, heavy rescue stuff. It has their extrication stuff, all their electric jaws, things of that nature. So, I would say probably at the end of the day, I'm more of a squad guy. And obviously we have to do everything because there's only 30 on every day. But if I were to be in a big city, it'd be squad. Like Hutch says, squad's where it's at. So, but I would love to have a really sweet squad truck that's got the black over red cab and that'd be where it's at for me.
I'm a red and red kind of fire truck girl. I'm classic red and red, not even white and red. I want red. Yeah. Red with nice gold lettering and
yes, the old English gold leaf. Oh yeah,
yes.
Awesome. Yep.
Black is so hard to keep clean.
Yeah, but you
wash fire trucks enough. I understand it'll be okay, but like,
black is hard to keep clean. The what's worse is the diamond plate. That's terrible. But that's
it always looks like crap. You try to shine it up and you do, but
it's tough, especially, if you have hard water or, you're in an area where you get weather or, you get the salt solutions on the roads and
if you live in Nebraska, it's not for you. Diamond plate is not for you.
Oh man. So, but we've got a black over red cab on our new engine that we've had it's only 2 years old now, but it's high enough up that it's easier to keep clean because it's a small portion of the truck's black, but I just like that look. that look Chicago has. So anyway,
I was trying to think of all the colors. I did a color episode with my husband a long time ago on this stuff. I was trying to remember all the colors of fire trucks we came up with, but there were kind of a ton out there. But I don't know if I've ever seen a purple fire truck. So that's one that I don't think I've ever seen a purple one.
No, I have not. We've only got one left, and it's that they call it lightning bug, but yellow color.
Yeah.
They official title of the paint color. So
Do you call it that a green or do you call it a yellow?
it's more yellow than green to me.
I
So-
finally have something on my side because Chris calls it more green than yellow, and we disagree a lot.
Yeah, no, I know. Now I would say the newer stuff has got a little more of a green hue to it.
But the
like
older, like
older was more of a yellow.
80s and 90s type, yeah, those tracks were yellow.
They were ugly, terrible.
Everyone called it the big green one. I'm like, no, that's yellow. That's obviously yellow. So
No fire truck should ever be that color, ever.
no. That color is reserved for tennis balls and things like
And ARF trucks.
yeah.
That
Exactly.
makes an ARF truck out there on a runway and such. Okay, I'm cool with that color, but other than that,
We're not landing a plane in the city.
Right. Exactly. Precisely.
I'm gonna go for another big one. Something because I like to train, and I like to train on stuff that I'm not good at. So I want a woods forcible entry prop.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That would agreed.
So I want all of the forcible entry training. I want to try everything. I'm getting better at it, but there's still a long ways to go. So if I could have my own personal one, that'd be awesome. If I have to share it with the department, I guess I will do that.
Right.
I'll take what I can get.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would agree. I think that would be pretty sweet to have that. And the cool thing about them is they're very versatile and strip them down and haul them. So like, say if you happen to have one, hey, department XYZ, I'd be willing to bring my door over and do some forcible entry training. I mean, it's a great concept.
Yeah.
No,
It makes it so much more affordable than that however many thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't even know what price they're up to now. I should have looked that up beforehand. Those really super industrial ones. No, don't get me wrong. They're freaking fantastic. And if you can afford one, get one of those. But
Right.
I'm going to take a woods one before I can never afford one of those. And the woods ones are going to be great.
You can buy like 3 or 4 woods ones for the price of that.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I've got, well, now that you bring up training,
Did you think of a few more?
I would love nothing fancy, but a just nice, functional, like fire training, like area where you could have your Connex boxes and be able to. We've got some high rise, actual true high rise. We got a 6-story, we got an 11-story. I'll put their apartment complexes where you could stack 5 of the boxes together, actually be able to do some high rise operations and in the pumping and things of that nature.
That'd be nice. I don't see a lot of high rise stuff in a lot of these smaller cities.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we do. I mean, it's in my first due. I mean, I've got.
I mean, training wise, at least. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, you could stack 5 of those boxes on there and you can at least do, because some of your not apartments, some of your hotels have standpipes. And so being able to just train on that, and so yeah, I would take just a nice functional training facility that you can burn in and do some.
How big? So like, are you thinking a city block? Are you thinking smaller, bigger?
Oh, it's smaller, kind of like pretty much like Osceola's setup. How
can we put that into words for everybody else? Well,
right?
They have it's a weird area, but it's a good area there too. Probably a quarter of a city block, maybe a little less, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's got three full-size boxes and then 2 next to it, and that's pretty much what it is. And then
they have all that grass area and stuff right next to it too, and like so you could set up other props and things.
Yeah, just something small, something functional. And
You definitely got to have it gated and everything too, and like keep it so you can like if you want to do car fire stuff or extrication stuff, so you don't have to haul away the car and truck or whatever you're doing right away after, you can clean up another day.
right. And my big deal is to be able to have that, and then outreach, be able to bring in your volunteer departments that are close by, or your mutual aid departments, being able to functionally work with them in a little bit more controlled setting. I think that's kind of the missing link a little bit in some areas, where some people get a little too proud of saying, hey, we use a little help, a little bit sooner, instead of waiting until the proverbial shits hit the fan, and now all of a sudden, now I really need that help. And be able to build those bonds and those relationships on a common playing field. And then so when things do kind of hit the fan, then you're able to rely on that assistance. So
well, and yeah, mutual aid training, and yeah, just allowing them to come in so they're training on things that they need to know and you need to know, or whatever you need to know that they need to know it. How about that? All those things.
Yeah, well, these are the SCBA packs we have. These are the ones that you have. Okay, if you were to go down, how would I be able to assist you? Does the RIT pack that we have, will it work? Will we be able to do XYZ with you? Things of that nature, where you have all that stuff worked out beforehand, and you just build those. Yeah. So
and it's
bound to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Most definitely. And coming from the volunteer side of things, I think a lot of us volunteers and the departments that we come from are prideful, like you're saying. They don't want to say they need help, because a lot of it are guys, but even girls too. Like, it's one of those, you're firefighters, you want to be able to get the job done and say you did it. You do your training and everything for it, but you have to ask for help. And I think a lot of it is when you build a training center, if you have a training area or whatever that is, if you do outreach to other departments, you need to let them know, hey, this is not for our benefit of like having you to help us. It's your benefit for us to help you, but not in a way that you think that like we're better than you. That's not it. It's so that we can legitimately help and make sure that you're going to be okay and go back home to your families at the end of the day.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I push, especially now, in my role as an officer, is, my job is to make sure my guys go home, but to make that happen, it's making sure that they are trained best of their ability, and they're up to date on the current tactics and science and things of that nature. It's not, I'm gonna mother goose you, and I'm gonna bring you in and hold on to you, and I'm gonna make sure everything's gonna be okay. No, you need to let them fly. You need to let them do their job, but you also have to train them. And that's the best way, the safest way to make sure that everybody goes home, including, the people that were sworn to serve and protect, because at the end of the day, if they don't get to go home, then did everybody really go home?
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, and adding another level to that outreach to them, going on a whole nother rabbit trail here. But one thing I firmly believe, and I don't know if I've heard anyone else talk about this before, so I try to talk about it as much as I can, but career departments are seeing a decline in applicants. That is a fact. Volunteer departments are seeing a decline in applicants. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I see things almost Disney style in a good circle of life here. You have your career department, and a lot of their applicants come from the volunteer side. Say what you want, doesn't matter, whatever. That's where a lot of it comes from, is from that volunteer side. So the career departments need to care if the volunteers are getting volunteers, even if they're not in your district, even if they're not your problem. They are your problem, because that's your future firefighters for your career side. So your volunteers, how do you get people? You get good people by working hard and training hard and trying to get those people, but by having good public relations and recruitment processes to bring people in. People want to be a part of a department that trains. They want to be part of a department that does community outreach, that does things for the community, does things for their kids. They're going to be more apt to volunteer for a place like that. Then once they get there, if you do this outreach to those volunteer departments and things for training and whatnot, they're gonna be like, hey, more training. They're going to catch the fire bug and want to get into it. They're going to want to go career, and they'll end up applying for your department. Now, granted, not everyone makes it. It's the way it is, but you're going to have more applicants in that process. And then once people get done the career, most people can't stop, so they go back to volunteering. So that's the circle.
or they're able to commute in, and they can still volunteer for their local, small town department, and drive 15-20 minutes to work and go work their regular shift. But at the end of the day, they get to go home and still can help out and volunteer in their community. I mean, you see that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of
all the time
that they don't, they don't live technically in the city or municipality that they work for. And then they volunteer in the small little town that they live in. And, twofold. I mean, one, they get to still help out, but also two, they can bring what they're learning on the job and bring it back to where they're at, and then spread that wealth of knowledge to their, local people that they're volunteering with. So no, I hear you. It's tough. It's, we see it all the time. We've tested a few times, and you get some good applicants and you end up snagging those ones, but
yeah.
And then you've exhausted your list, and then you see you're back kind of at square one, and it's just not the fire service. It's,
it's everywhere.
It's police, it's EMS. It's tough. But I do agree, though, if you can foster those good relationships, one, it helps out at the end of the day. If you need to work together, but also two, you end up finding, good quality people that are like, hey, I would love to do this for a job. I mean, I was a volunteer. I mean, that's how I started out. And, then 6 years later, I got the phone call from my first career job, and I love it. And that's the job I've chose to do. And at the end of the day, if I were to not do this and I had the opportunity to volunteer, I would have no problem going back to volunteering, because there's a need for it. And it's just a good thing to do, so, but no, I hear you. It's tough. It's just that mutual respect. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I get the opportunity to do this as a career, and I think if we can look at it that way, and then humble ourselves a little bit to be able to bring in those smaller departments or help out with their trainings or things of that nature, you're going to be more apt to be able to work together and make things go way smoother when need be. So
yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many do you have left? Or do you have any
one
left? You got one left? Okay. Okay. I will, because I have like a lot more. So I'm going to narrow it down to one. This is so bad. I was so much like a little kid on this one.
All right.
Let's do. Okay, this is something. Okay, I got two. I can't put it down just one. I got two. So, first one is an RZ mask. Okay. So, and it's an actual brand of a mask. And the first time I heard about this was on a podcast from it's officially called the Volunteer Firefighter Podcast, DTFF guys. They're from Canada. They're great. I love listening to their stuff. It's basically, and this was around way before COVID stuff hit and all this stuff, but it's a mask, and it actually has filters and everything for it. And it's basically almost a substitute. I don't know if it's officially rated for stuff officially, so I can't speak to that point to it. but to wear it for overhaul, wear it for some of these other things where you don't need a full SCBA.
Right.
So something a lot easier and quicker to kind of put on. So one of those I think would be amazing.
Yeah, I know. I know MSA makes kind of a deal that'll clip in on your actual face mask, and it's for kind of like that, whether it's you know, the pandemic or overhaul or things of that nature, where you know it's in a spot where you don't your levels are all good when you're monitoring, and so but it's still good to have something on protecting respiratory wise, and so you can snap that in and you're good to go. Yeah, that's especially for age. So
so that's mine. What do you got?
Last one I got is so like I said, I don't like yellow trucks, right? There's one truck I would like to see us be able to replace, and it's the next one that will go, but it would be a Pierce Aero XT 100-foot aerial mid mount. So
nice.
Yeah, I kind of like, I've worked with both. The one thing about the mid mount, I like, one, you don't have the ladder hanging off the front, blocking your view as you're trying to drive. But also that mid mount, it really kind of gives you a little bit of a good base of range from the center point. So it's a little bit easier to kind of to position. If you're like the truck driver, you can kind of position it a little bit. Whereas if you're coming off the rear, you've got to really kind of plan how you're coming in and parking and things of that nature, and your scrub areas and all that, you know, good stuff when it comes to using an aerial. And so the mid mounts, I feel are a little bit more user friendly, a little bit more stable because they're right in the center of that. So, and it has a little bit of, I mean, obviously all aerials have a little bit of areas where they can't work for. So obviously you've got the cab, but you really have the reach from kind of behind you at every angle, just in front of the cab, and then all the way to the front. So, but those are pretty sweet. So I'm pretty partial to those. I like them a lot.
Man, you had some pretty big Christmas list gifts.
I know.
Those trucks cost a pretty penny.
Yes, they do, but they are a great investment. So
yes, they are. My last thing on my list is kind of small compared to everything else, but I had one before and I want another one because my other one kind of lost it ended up breaking basically overall, but I want a Foxfire helmet band again. And these are, so the Foxfire, for those who don't know, they glow in the dark. And so I broke it and I ended up putting it back together for my pink helmet over here. So I had a pink one. Freaking awesome, by the way. But
nice.
They have a pink one, they have just a regular green one, they have a blue one now, apparently. But I love them. I love being able to I love that glow factor to it. It is easier for people to find me and stuff like that. And like, I've been in some of the trainings and stuff with people in really, really dark conditions and dense conditions, and seeing that Foxfire stuff in there, it does work really well for what it can do, I should say, but it works really, really well. And so like, I like having that in the first place. Plus, if I set my helmet down in the middle of the night or something, and it's been charged for a little bit in the station or something, I can find it again. So that's kind of nice too. And then just a nice sturdy helmet band to hold stuff in.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. I just have the cheap helmet band on mine, but I just have a couple wedges. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool though. I like that.
Yeah, they're really, really nice. The first time people from my old department saw it, they're like, what? What is that? It glows? And they're like, that's weird. But guess what? They could always find me and wherever I was. And
super resourceful. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that ends it for the Christmas list. I have more, but I'm not going to list every single thing on here. So I have books. I have tools. I I even have, I don't know, just random stuff on here, but I might put a whole list out or something with my entire list or something with this episode
There you
so that
go.
everyone can see it all. But we have some other things to try to get into for this episode too. This episode is not over. First thing I'm going to ask you, Curtis, before we move on, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh man, my favorite. I watch it all the time, not even just during Christmas time. So I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Very good one. Very good one.
Yes, that is my choice. I watch virtually any time that it's on. So
Perfect.
part of it, obviously, I'm sure anybody, but it kind of reminds me of, my Christmases growing up a little bit as a kid. And we would have everybody, it didn't matter, all sides. Christmas is on this day and we're having it here, and show up or don't show up. And so it was just nuts. I mean, there was just people coming out of the woodworks all the time. So, but yeah, that would be my ultimate favorite Christmas movie. So
very nice.
What about yours?
I was gonna say mine's gonna have to be I don't know, it's cute. I can't say it's classic because it's not classic at all, but it's classic to me because it came out when I was growing up. The Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That it has the perfect amount of nostalgia and cute tradition to it at Christmas time, like a feel good Christmas, plus it's hilarious. So
no, I agree. Yeah, that's a good one.
A very, very close second is going to be Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Very close.
Yeah.
Second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll binge the Christmas Story, when it goes on. Yeah. Yeah. And it's really fun because you'll throw that on and the kids are like, weren't you just watching that? Like, it's on for 24 hours.
You're watching it the full 24 hours. You're going to watch it.
It's on.
You never watch it the full way through when it's on those 24 hours. You just catch it here and there while you're doing other stuff.
Piece it together, Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to move on to the next section of every guest episode I have. We are going to do the Family Firefighter Survival section. And this section goes over, for those of you who don't know, basically our take at how to, kind of merge the family and us being firefighters together. Merge how we're, not really merge, but work on how we integrate the two. Make sure we keep our family first, hence the Family Firefighter Survival, and make sure that we are doing our best for the people who honestly care about us the most. As much as we love our fire family, this segment is here to give us ideas, go over, sometimes in some episodes, go over hard stuff, go over things we've learned and how to get used to, and what we do to strengthen the family relationships. This episode's going to be a little different. This episode's going to be fun. And this is going to go over our Christmas traditions with our family. So we're just going to start out. What do you do for Christmas tradition? What's one of them that you tend to do?
So we, for starters, obviously it's all, shift dependent. So fortunately, prior to my wife becoming a psychiatric nurse practitioner, she was a flight nurse and worked as an ICU nurse. So she understands the concept of shift work and having to work certain weekends and holidays and whatnot. So just understanding that sometimes, you're not able to celebrate the actual holiday on the actual day. But that doesn't mean that you still can't celebrate the holiday. And for us, it's just been able to instill that in our kids, letting them know that, people still get sick, fires still happen, people still get hurt, things of that nature, where, somebody still has to be able to go to work and take care of, your people. And just understanding that there's give and take and everything, and there's a flexibility to things. And just because, you can't have, certain things, celebrate on the actual day, doesn't mean that you can't still have the spirit of the holiday, or the traditions of it. So obviously, like I said, it's all dependent on shift work. So like this year, for example, I worked Thanksgiving. And so we just had to shift, and we had Thanksgiving on the Friday after, with all our family that could make it. I worked Christmas this year also. And so, for my
double whammy.
yeah, I know, right? For my younger two, now that they're 8 and 4, they're both kind of at that age. It was like the sticker shock of like, what? You have to work Christmas? And it's like, yeah, I have to work Christmas, and I said, it just is what it is, and we can still celebrate. And obviously Christmas is always a big time, especially when you're young. But we really enjoy just spending good quality time, like on Christmas Eve. The kids, they're able to open a present. They get to pick one from under the tree. And usually we've got the patented elf on the shelf, that you got to move around every night.
Do you keep up with that?
So for the most part, yeah. What it usually ends up being
is you or your wife keeps up with it? Hold on.
Well, so this is how this goes.
Okay.
It was her idea, to get it way back when it first came out. And she's one where she goes to bed early and she gets up early. And so it's always I forgot to move Fireball. That's our elf's name. You think you can move Fireball? Yeah, sure, you betcha. So that's usually how that goes. But he brings.
My husband would get wrapped into the same thing, I can guarantee you.
Oh yeah. And so he'll bring, our elf brings certain things, but he always brings like Christmas jammies on Christmas Eve. And if I'm not working Christmas Eve, then we always make it a point to go to, one of the candlelight services at our church. And really stress that the whole encompassing of the Christmas season and the reason for the season, and that the presents are great, but understanding that it's more than just that. I've always been more of a Christmas Eve fan than the actual Christmas Day.
I understand that there's something about Christmas Eve, just the quiet of Christmas Eve. Even Christmas, it's not quiet. It should be, but it's not. Christmas Eve is just so different.
I love it. I've always been more of a Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. And so we just always, that I would say tradition wise, it's just a matter of, we try to get together with as much of our family that we can. And everybody's lives are busy and extended and things of that nature, whether it's a blended family or, extra friends and things of that nature. So, but we, kind of round the troops and figure out where we're going to do Christmas for the, whatever it is for that year. And if we can make it, great. And if not, I know we really enjoy being able to just kind of be together as a family at home. And we love to travel, obviously, to extended family, but it's a little bit easier to have people come here just simply because, family of 6 and, you're having to bring a U-Haul to bring all the presents back home from grandma and grandpa's.
Yeah.
My grandma has a Suburban now. She can load it all up and bring it down the road. So, but anyway, so yeah, that would be, I'd say pretty much ours. So what about you?
Well, the biggest thing we do every single year, no matter what, Chris and I go look at Christmas lights.
Okay.
And so we were talking about a couple nights ago, Chris is like, is Nebraska the only place that does that? I'm like, no. He's like, are you sure? Because I don't hear about it anywhere else. And I'm like, no, I know other places do it. And I got confirmation yesterday that more places do it. They just don't talk about it as much as Nebraskans do. I don't know why. It's such a huge thing here. But we've gone out already a couple nights going looking at Christmas lights. And I know we're going to go out a few more nights leading up to it still. And it's just one of those things like, I make up a huge cup of apple cider and he makes up his cappuccino and we just go out for hours and we just drive and find lights. And it's just, I don't know what it is. It's so much fun. And I totally can't wait to be a parent someday because I know we're going to be those corny parents who have that Christmas playlist and we'll sing from the top of our lungs. And like, I really hope our kids get in the spirit and sing with us and don't be like, oh my gosh, you're embarrassing us. I want them to be like full into it with us of just like going all out for a few hours.
One thing you bring that up, and one thing that we've started to do, we started to do with my older two kiddos are my stepkids. But I've been, oh man, they were 5 and 3 when I first met my wife. So I've been pretty much in their life from a long time because now they're 14. But so Minden, Nebraska is dubbed the Christmas City. And if anybody has seen the
I didn't know that.
Yes, it is the Christmas City. And if you've ever seen like the city and county building in Denver, how that's all lit up for the holidays, it's like a miniature version of that.
I'm writing this down. I gotta, yes. I might have to make a road trip.
Yep. It is Minden is the Christmas City. And they have a big, like they kick it off with, like a Christmas pageant, and they do a Christmas light parade, and it's a big to do. And then they leave the lights on for multiple weekends, obviously. But we go down there. Usually they got like an old school Pizza Hut, like the old school, like Book It style Pizza Hut.
Nice. I love how you reference Book It, by the way.
Yeah, right. We're that generation.
Yes, we are.
And like it was the coolest thing ever. I got my Book It. We're gonna go get my personal pan pizza because I read these books.
That was the best prize ever. They knew how to get us.
I know, and it was like the best pizza ever too.
Yeah.
That little personal pan pizza, that was mine because I read, right?
Yeah.
So it's old school like that. And so we'll go down there and we'll eat, and then we go and we walk around the little square and we'll take a family photo or whatever. And it's fun to kind of go through my cell phone because you can just see how much everybody has grown and changed, and then you add the younger two in the mix, and just seeing how much they've changed. And then there's a guy here, he lives outside of town, so if you take the Minden Road off of the interstate, there's the Fort Kearney road, and he lives out over to the east of there, and it's like 5 acres worth of this Christmas lights. It's awesome. Yeah. And people will drive through. I mean,
people can go through there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. I will text you for directions to this afterwards.
Yeah.
Because holy crap.
You get off and you'll get down to where his house is and you drive through, and it's this massive light display that it takes however long for them to put up and take down. And
oh man.
And they're standing outside handing out candy canes to, as you drive by, they'll say Merry Christmas and see how many people in the car want a candy cane. And
I love those.
Yeah, it's really cool. So they got an old school RV out there with Cousin Eddie and it's pretty awesome. So that would be one thing that we always make sure to do is do that. So it's a lot of fun. But yes, Minden is the Christmas City.
That is awesome.
Yeah, really, because like they're a town hall, county building, or whatever. I think it's the courthouse. It literally sits like in a square.
I love those too. You don't get too many squares anymore, and like it just there's something different about it.
It's a square, and then the streets around it are a square, and just that main part right there, and it's a true typical right out of a Hallmark, Christmas classic movie. All you need is snow and you'd be good to go. So
I've only been there to photograph one football game, and that's it. So I need to go back and just see this.
You would geek out with being able to take pictures. It's beautiful. It's really cool.
Oh, man. Let's see. So another big thing we do. So when we put up Christmas decorations for the year, usually I do this over Thanksgiving weekend because I love Halloween way too much. So my Halloween decorations stay up all the way through Thanksgiving weekend. And then I do a big switch and everything switches to Christmas.
Right.
But so when we switch to Christmas, this started when I was a kid, and it's one of those things that I can't give up. We put on the Rankin and Bass, is that what they're the claymation Christmas movies? So like the Year Without a Santa Claus, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, stuff like that. Rudolph.
Yeah.
We will stick there's one year on ABC Family, they had all those on. So I recorded a whole bunch of those and I put them onto a whole DVD and everything. So like I have my own DVD of them all right now.
Awesome.
So I stick that in and we have those play the entire day while we're putting up all our Christmas decorations.
Right.
It is the best.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Chris will always get distracted because the TV is on. So you'll see him just every once in a while stop and just watch and not help.
That's me. Yeah. I do the same thing.
But it's one of those, I can't put up Christmas decorations with no music on or no TV on. Like something has to be on.
I'm the same way. So usually we'll put up our Christmas lights outside early, just simply because if it's a nice day, I don't want to fall off the roof, right? Or get blown off the roof. And so we'll put those up, but I won't turn them on until the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so here I am in like early November with Christmas music blaring on my phone while I'm putting up Christmas lights outside.
You're one of those people. Oh no.
It's only then, and then I wait till then I'm one where it's like I'm good on the whole Christmas music until like the week before Christmas, and then you can go wild. So
and it's like in on your truck and stuff like that when you go to work all the whole way and everything, and like it's everywhere.
Right.
You're like, no, not quite.
Not really. Christmas music, but not blaring constantly 24/7. So
Yeah.
like when you go into Hobby Lobby in June and they've got like Christmas music playing, it's like you gotta
that's a little much.
I can see July, maybe, because you always have those stores that have like the Christmas in July sales or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway.
Awesome. I don't know. That's pretty much all I have. We don't have a lot of Christmas traditions. We also don't have a full family yet, though, either. So like it's one of those things. Like I know we're gonna make more as the years come, but we really don't have that many yet. We just have those few things that we do, and it's nice because with the way it's always been with just the two of us, we've kind of just done our own thing. But then with having shift come here in the soon future for this next year or whatever, it's going to be nice because without having so many traditions, we can move things around as need be, like you were saying. So
yeah, that's the biggest thing is just that. Yeah. And that, it does change when you have kids, obviously. But I think that's the cool thing is having them understand that, there's the holidays and the traditions and things like that are great and they're wonderful. But really at the end of the day, it's having that flexibility and knowing that, you have to give and take a little bit sometimes. And, sometimes dad can't be home or mom can't be home, but, by them not being home, somebody else has that opportunity to be with their family for the day or for the actual holiday, and that it all rotates. And I just think it's a good value for them to learn at an early age. So
there's one thing that I would be heartbroken being in the volunteer world where if on Christmas morning or something, a call would come out and I have to explain to the kid really quickly or have Chris explain or something. Yeah. I gotta go, but it's Christmas, but it's not scheduled like Chris gets, it's like.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, especially when they're little. I mean, as they get older, they're like, okay. All right, sounds good. But, earlier, like I said, this is the first year really, I mean, both of them, they're just like, what? You have to work
And it's
Yeah.
like,
And scheduled or out of the blue, it doesn't make it any easier either way.
Yeah. So, and it's like, hey, it's fine. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I said last year when your dad was off, somebody else had to work. You know, I said so they weren't able to be home. Today we just take our turns, and it's okay. No big deal. Santa's still regardless. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some families are able to have people come meet them at the station. Some families aren't. And right now with COVID, who knows what's happening with different stations and what their policies are and stuff with that too anyways. But you know, there's so many ways to work around it. And thank goodness for FaceTime now.
Yes, that is a lifesaver. I tell you what.
Because even if you can't be there, sometimes you're able to still squeeze that in. So
that's the plan this year is as because I'll be driving, and so they'll probably just kick the FaceTime on quick, and so I can be present enough so they can open their presents. So it'll just be the Santa gifts though. Everything else will be opened up the day before. So, but which they're pretty pumped about. They're like, we get to open up gifts on like all of them, not just one. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, so they were pretty excited about that trade-off a little bit.
Of course. And then next year they're gonna be like, oh, we have to wait.
Yeah, right. Yep, you gotta wait.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I was totally that way. Just saying.
Oh yeah. I know, right? Yeah. So
when I was growing, my parents used to do family gifts. So like we would always get one or two family gifts, and I was always be either a movie we could watch together or a board game that we could all play together or something like that. Do you guys ever do anything like that, or?
It depends on the year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that though, where we've gotten a certain game or even a puzzle or something that we can kind of do together. So
I was thinking about that. Like I like that. I'm going to turn that into another family tradition again, because that was something that I really enjoyed. There's stuff that I realized like from my childhood growing up, I'm like, I really like that. I'm going to take that and use that. Like,
I think last year we got the Hutch, the youngest one. He would have been 3.5, but we saw these really cool puzzles at Hobby Lobby, right? They're like Disney, Monsters Inc. and cars. I'm like, shoot, look at that, right? Not even paying attention to how many pieces it was. And it turned into a family puzzle because it was like somebody would have to go sit and put it together for a little bit, and then you'd get stumped, and then so they would get up, and then somebody else with a different eye would come in, and then the cars one, there was one piece like missing we couldn't find, and it was right there. The entire puzzle. It was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I've had that happen once. And it was a puzzle that literally, I know it sounds stupid, but it took me all year. But you know what? You should have seen this puzzle. It was bad. And there was one piece missing. And I still have the puzzle. And there's that one piece missing. And Chris is like, we need to buy the puzzle so we can find that one piece. I'm like, chances are that cutout piece is not going to fit it. So I'm going to put the whole thing together again.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You get a piece of cardstock, trace it out, color it, and stick it in there. So
perfect. No one will ever notice.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That came with it. Yeah,
totally. That's supposed to be there.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, perfect. Well, this has been a lot of fun talking with you tonight, Curtis. Like I could keep talking for hours. I know we shouldn't, but I could.
Now, this would be about the time my wife would say I'm bluebirding, which is her code word for you need to zip it and stop talking.
Go make everybody happy. Go get some rest, all that fun jazz. And get ready for Christmas come up in a few days. And for everyone who's listening to this tomorrow, sorry that we keep referencing a few days from now when it's actually tomorrow when you're listening to, or it could be today. I don't know when people are listening to this. I hope you're not listening on Christmas Day. Maybe you are. Maybe you're at work. I don't know. I am not going to say anything more because now I'm just going to dig myself in a deeper hole. So, but anyways, thank you so much, Curtis. And for those of you wondering, we will have Curtis on again to talk about another fire subject at some point. We just need to decide. I don't know. There's so many different things we can talk about. So
definitely
brainstorm.
Yep.
So this is not the last we've seen of Curtis, but for now, it is going to be a good night. Is there anything you would like to plug or talk about or anything tonight?
I just want to say thanks for bringing me on. Super humbled that you asked me to do this. It was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed chatting with you, obviously, and just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I know that the last year or two has been kind of nuts. But I think if we can all continue to remain kind and try to walk in everybody else's shoes a little bit, but be okay with staying convicted with your own beliefs, that we'll eventually get on the other side of this nonsense. So, but I look forward to being back on here at some point, and I look forward to seeing you at Les Lukert here in the next, I don't know, like 6 weeks. And
something like that, man. It's come up too quick.
I know. So I'm excited. Let's be good.
No, and you said that way more eloquently than I'm ever going to say it. So Merry Christmas, you guys. Happy Christmas Eve, whatever. If you have any really cool traditions or something really cool for your Christmas list, or something that should be on one of our Christmas lists that you want us to have on our Christmas lists, let me know. Reach out. Otherwise, we hope you have a good Christmas. I already said that, and I'm talking in circles. So I think now is a great time to end it. We will see you guys all later. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Couplings Fire Podcast. See you next time, everybody.